I will just ask you to stand as we sing the national anthem. We'll ask Judge Dorset to lead us in this process. Mr. Dorset.
Good evening, everybody. I love beauty. I love splendor. I do also sweet and fair. All must surely gazing in wonder at thy gifts so rich and rare. Rivers, valleys, hills, and mountains, all these gifts we do extol. Healthy land so light, all fountains, giving cheer that warms the soul. Thank you.
Let us remain standing as we invite Father Franklin Coffey to lead us in prayer.
Good evening, everybody. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, the grace and peace of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. My brothers and sisters, the word of God this evening is taken from Matthew's Gospel, beginning with verse 31. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, escorted by all the angels, then he will take his seat on his throne of glory. All the nations will be assembled before him, and he will separate men from one another, as the shepherd separates sheep from goats. He will place the sheep on his right hand, and the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you whom my Father has blessed. Take for your heritage the kingdom prepared for you since the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you made me welcome. Naked, and you clothed me. Sick, and you visited me. In prison, and you come to see me." Then the virtuous will say to him in reply, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and fed you, or thirsty and gave you drink? When did we see you a stranger and make you welcome, naked and clothe you, sick or in prison, and go to see you?" And the king will answer, "I tell you solemnly, in so far as you did this to one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did it to me." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Lord Jesus King. Awesome God, we thank you for the visions of this Resilience residential home. Thank you for being the God of abundance, the one who will provide all the resources we need to complete this project. Thank you for giving our Prime Minister, our political leaders, and building committee members wisdom, discernment, and favor as this project progresses. Thank you for entrusting this endeavor to us as your people. Lord, you are God. You created the heavens and earth and put everything in place. You made the world to be lived in, not to be a place of empty chaos. You are the Lord, and there is no other. You publicly proclaim bold promises. You do not whisper obstacles in dark corners. And so in Jesus' name, we command that God's kingdom come and his will be done on earth as it is in heaven, for the construction of this resilient housing project. Your word, Father, declares that for lack of advice, plans go wrong. But with many advisors, there is success. Father, we expect you to call forth competent and skilled laborers for this project, just as you call for the artisans for building of the tabernacle. We decree that everyone involved in this project will focus their attention and efforts so that they can successfully complete their assignment and bring glory and honor to your name. By faith, favor surrounds this project, and we have good success. We are confident that we will see this to the end. Father, we are confident that these new facilities will be completed because you have begun this work. We make this prayer in the name of Jesus, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen.
Please be seated. Let me take this opportunity to indicate that the Honorable Prime Minister will join us during the course of the ceremony as we proceed. Honorable Joseph Isaac, the Minister of Environment, Climate Resilience, Disaster Management, Urban Renewal, and the Parliamentary Representative of the Roseau Central Constituency, Honorable Members of Cabinet, Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Christopher Timmins, Project Manager of MMC, Her Worship Irene John, Mayor of Roseau, Mistress Melissa Skerritt, Father Franklin Coffey, Mr. Jed Dorset, distinguished guests, residents of Roseau, the general public, the media, those listening here and abroad, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As we proceed with this function, I would like to invite Her Worship, the Mayor, Irene John, to welcome us officially to this function.
Good evening to everyone here present, and those of you who are listening at your homes and overseas. Well, the Prime Minister is not there, but I will still refer to the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Minister for Housing and Lands, and Mrs. Skerritt, Honorable Joseph Isaac, Minister for Environment, Climate Resilience, Disaster Management, and Urban Renewal, and Parliamentary Representative for Roseau Central Constituency. Other Honorable Members of Cabinet, His Excellency Steve Farrell, Secretary to the Cabinet, Permanent Secretaries, Reverend Father Franklin Coffey, distinguished guests, Jude Dorset, residents of Roseau Central, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is for me an honor to stand here to give welcome remarks for the construction of residential homes at the upper river bank and lower riverfront. I bid you a pleasant welcome to the city of Roseau and to look forward to unveiling of government's housing plans for the riverbank area. The Roseau City Council, of which I am its chairman and mayor of the city of Roseau, welcome government initiatives in several endeavors. I welcome you all for being here today and for your ongoing interest in the important subject of housing in the city of Roseau. The changes the government are implementing across our great country are focused on making social housing more modern, more responsive, more efficient, and better suited to the needs of tenants. It almost goes without saying why secure housing is so important. Yet I do want to expound on this because a desire to help people lead more productive and ultimately more independent lives is at the heart of this government social investment approach. Make no mistake that despite the unfortunate examples you might hear about on radio talk shows, the government continues to provide extensive housing support to the less of households. Never in the history of governance is in this country that a government has placed that level of empathy on the social housing portfolio. This is remarkable and this is revolutionary. We are happy that our city is also a beneficiary of this housing revolution. While we are talking housing, we are happy also with the government's enhancement program for the city of Roseau. We continue to see greater collaboration with central government in the ongoing development of our city. I cannot, without doing violence to myself, to forbear upon this occasion to state most profoundly the good efforts of this government for the remarkable recovery we have witnessed in the wake of Hurricane Maria. Truly remarkable, thanks to you, Mr. Prime Minister, and your team for the attention given to our city post-Hurricane Maria. With these brief remarks, I welcome you all and hope that you take note of government's contributions in making lives of the residents of the city of Roseau more pleasing and to create an ambience so deserving of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The worship Irene John. It is easy for us to choose to forget. However, we are constantly reminded by the gentle changes on our natural landscape. We see the greenery return over the past months as we emerge from Hurricane Maria. Today we are here to expose government's renewed and dedicated focus on the built environment. We as the Ministry of Housing and Lands wants to make Dominica an unforgettable residential paradise, free of the threatening impacts of another passing storm, well prepared and secured for any category. And it is for this reason we are here to announce to the citizens of Dominica and the residents of Roseau in particular today that government is ready to rebuild, reorient, and restore the city. And this is evidenced by what is happening in this very function and the environment in which we are having this event. Today we are here to unveil plans for the construction of residential homes in the city as part of a wider program of building resilient homes across Dominica. This event is therefore one of many around our Nature Isle where we reveal practical yet real development plans in the response to the housing needs across Dominica and here in Roseau. A place where many cherish as home, but over time, many disasters have driven many families away from the city. Our initiative here is to present a plan that has taken root already. You are therefore invited to attend to our presentation, which we'll have this evening. Enjoy the ambience, and of course, we will show the gradual unfolding of a modern, resilient, safe Roseau. I hereby invite the Honorable Joseph Isaac, the parliamentary representative of the Roseau constituency, and who is also the Minister of Climate Resilience, Urban Renewal, to address us. Honorable Isaac.
God is good. All the time. Please allow me to recognize, even in his absence, our Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerritt, the Prime Minister of Dominica. Esteemed colleagues, members of Cabinet, His Excellency Steve Farrell, Secretary to Cabinet, our most gracious Master of Ceremony, our PS, Reginald Sevre, Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Christopher Timmins, as a Project Manager of MMC, Our Worship, Mrs. Irene John, Mayor of Roseau, Reverend Father Franklin Coffey, Mrs. Melissa Skerritt, the patron of the Melissa Foundation. Jade Dorset, beautiful voice. Distinguished guests, residents of Roseau Central, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. As a parliamentary representative, I'm elated, proud, but humbled by the unfolding of the vision of development for Roseau City and the wider Roseau area. It is a vision which, if you remember, our Prime Minister carved out the vision for the country. But I'll tell you the sub-vision is making Roseau be the first climate resilient green city of the Caribbean. Just imagine a city full of excitement with people living in that city. Imagine with the completion of our housing facilities, you will have small business opportunities. The long dream of having business incubator will be realized. You'll see green spaces in Roseau, and on some of our buildings in Roseau, you'll see solar energy. This is a vision you cannot deny is a great vision for Roseau, and give our Prime Minister and members of Cabinet a round of applause for that. I would like to therefore personally thank the many people who came together with this common vision for Roseau City, are coming together in a seamless way of team members. An effort, I must say, would not be realized without the support of our Honorable Minister for Lands, and our Honorable Minister for Housing, our Honorable Minister for Finance, our Honorable Minister of Investment, and this is the man, our beloved, the Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerritt, who holds all this portfolio. I said seamless effort because a lot of times people think that you have to be the one to drive a process. It does not take only one parliamentary representative to move a city or move a constituency. So for that, I'm very happy to see people like Dr. Colin McIntyre and Dr. Irvin McIntyre holding the valley that is Roseau Valley. Give him a round of applause and his brother for me. I'm happy to see the coming of minds of people like Josiah Binwa joining forces with Shakira Lockhart to ensure that Roseau South get a piece of the pie. Again, round of applause for the effort. And imagine a person who was poised to be a rival, the man, Honorable Robbie Tong, joining with Melissa Popon-Skerrit and Joseph Isaac to put a mark in Roseau Central, joining with the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit. And now, allow me to big up Miriam Blanchard, who blazed the trail in Roseau North, starting the mission in Roseau North. A round of applause for her. I would like to now publicly pronounce my deepest faith in the Lord, our God. Because when I was trying to do the right thing, many people could not see the vision. But today, I stand here very proud of being a member of the Dominican Labour Party administration. I'm happy because when you work with the names that I've called and other members of cabinet and the wider Labour Party administration, I say a machinery of creativity, a machinery and institution of innovation, a hard-working institution. We, all of us in Dominica, should be proud of the legacy of the Dominica Labour Party administration. The Lord gave me strength, courage, and determination to really go through what at the time one may say was a difficult challenge to do the right thing. But here I am today, very proud. Why? Because I have a boundless love for the people of Roseau and the people of Dominica, and that is what makes me put development before self and pride. That is what makes me put not party first, but country first. That is what makes me always put people before myself, because it makes me smile every time I see one extra person is getting a roof over their head. We have to be happy about that. I would like to once again, tonight, to everyone listening to me here and via the internet or via the radio, all like-minded Dominicans who want to join the birds of development and of positivity, the birds of feather who flock together because of patriotism. I ask you to join the birds of feather who keep soaring to higher heights, a higher heights for this country, a height that all of us will be proud of, and all of us will be happy that we have done the best that we could do for Dominica. The vision which is unfolding right here today, this evening, is a city where we have started the resilient process with the housing. The government is actually stepping up and setting the trend. So we'll have apartments next to the former NDC. We'll have, housing complex that is in the Pong area. And we'll have by the riverside, which is here, right along here. But this vision is not only for Roseau Central. And that is why I called the different Roseau areas. Because if you are from Roseau, and if you are from Dominica, you must develop your city center and move out, so that when the world comes to your country, you can have pride. Some of us who grew up in Roseau understand the struggle of poor sanitation, lack of opportunities. And that is why you should never ever put just a political party before your country and your constituency. We have a vision which is similar and will be unfolding in Roseau North. I'm proud here tonight to let you know, those who are not aware, that we have 33 units. That is, the foundation is already being completed in Belvidere as we speak right here tonight. I did some hard negotiation today with the Minister of Lands, that is the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Prime Minister, in which he agreed to again facilitate Roseau North. So Roseau North and Roseau Central will be getting 156 units, and Roseau North will be getting over 100 units. I'm trying to see if we can get 200. So, you see, you must always believe in yourself. But first of all, believe in the Lord. He'll give you the strength to see it through. And let us pray for our Honorable Prime Minister. Let us pray for him because he's visionary. He's caring. He's a loving person. He always put people first. And you know how he is. He's sharing all what he has. He'd invite everybody to his home. So this is a man, all of us, not just political. I'm talking for development purpose. I'm asking everybody who is here in my voice to join me and join all the patriotic Dominicans to rally behind this Dominican Labour Party administration when the time comes for us to make our decision. Thank you. Good night. I'll be enjoying it with you tonight as we look at everything here.
At this time, we'll all stand to receive the Honorable Prime Minister. So sit. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium Mr. Christopher Timmins, who is the ground person representing MMMCE. And Christopher represents an attachment to Dominica, an extension to Dominica, which the Honorable Prime Minister would often say, I think you have gradually become a Dominican and a special type of public servant. So without much ado, I would like to invite Mr. Timmins to join us as we have the major event now, the presentation of the Pong development right here, which we call the Roseau front, the river front, and also up across the Dominica Grammar School at the corner of the river. Welcome, Mr. Timmins.
Thank you. Good evening. Let me recognize the presence of the Honourable Roosevelt Skerritt, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica and Minister for Housing and Lands. The Honourable Joseph Isaac, Minister for Environment, Climate Resilience, Disaster Management, Urban Renewal and Parliamentary Representative for Roseau Central Constituency. Other Honourable Members of Cabinet, His Excellency Steve Farrell, Secretaries of the Cabinet, Permanent Secretaries, Her Worship Irene John, Mayor of Roseau, the Reverend Father Franklin Cuffey, Mrs. Melissa Skerritt, distinguished guests, residents of Roseau Central, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Now, obviously I can't speak as well as the previous speaker can, so I'll just have to give you facts. It's, every great city has its river. You think of London and the Thames. You think of Paris and the Seine. You think of Rome and the Tiber, Dublin and the Liffey, and Roseau and the Roseau River. Interestingly, all of these cities also have a north bank and a south bank, and the great buildings emanate out from there. So tonight, it's a great pleasure to be able to show you some great climate-resistant buildings, which we hope will bring life back into the riverbanks of this great city and carry on going forward for many hundreds of years. The company I represent, we take our commitments very seriously. And if I stand before you and present a scheme, then please be assured it's going to happen. It will start and it will finish. And hopefully the new residents of Bellevue Chopin, the new residents of Castle Bruce, who are already moving in, some have been living there for 10 months now, will confirm that. So what are we going to do? We're going to build 156 new residences and 32 commercial spaces or shops. Now let's see if hopefully the presentation is going to work. So we're going to start with Upper Riverbank, which some of you know as the site opposite the grammar school. Here we're going to build 2 buildings of 60 apartments. The residences will consist of 3-bed, 2-bed, and some 1-bed units. They are hurricane resistant. They are eco-friendly. They will have eco-friendly lighting systems, eco-friendly heating systems for the hot water. They will be complying with all the regulations of fire resistance, firefighting systems, emergency lighting, etc. We are taking precautions to ensure that in the event of a major disaster, the river will not trespass onto the site. As these are very similar buildings to the ones we've already constructed and which have been handed over to the new residents in Castle Bruce. And as anybody who's visited that site will know, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the kitchens are of the highest quality. So we can show the slide. Okay. Chad, can we? We have to wait for the IT gremlins. So, Upper Riverbank, this location I'm sure you'll know, opposite the grammar school. We, upon the Prime Minister's request, we've decided not to incorporate retail units in the bottom there because he says the need is far more urgent to provide resilient housing to the people. I think we can skip these, I think, Chad. Just go to the, right. Every apartment, whether it's 3 bedrooms, whether it's 2 bedrooms, gets 2 bathrooms. It gets fitted kitchens. You get extractor hoods. All the floors are finished with a properly tiled, the walls are properly tiled. Everything you need, apart from the beds, is provided. Construction. It is the drawings are done, the structural drawings are done, the materials are ordered. The contractor is in the country. We will start construction within the next 2 weeks on site. Okay. I think we can probably move on to Lower Riverbank now, Chad, please. Okay. Now, while we're waiting for the IT gremlins, the next thing you're going to see is a video of the Lower Riverbank, or where we're presently sitting. And again, here we are going to have 2 buildings. They will consist mainly of 3-bedroom and 2-bedroom residences. There will be 16 shop units, and construction is slated to start within this year. So again, exactly the same as Upper Riverbank. Everything is truly hurricane resistant. The windows are certified hurricane resistant. The water heating systems are eco-friendly. The firefighting systems, the fire detection systems, everything is as modern as we can make it, ensuring that these buildings are viable without any major modifications for the next 100 years. On top of that, we are also finally in a position to commence work on Roseau City Square. Now, I don't have a picture to show you, unfortunately. Roseau City Square will consist of 2 buildings. They will be the same style of building as the riverbank here. They will contain the same number of residences and 16 shops as well. And again, this is really going to smarten up an area that's much needed at the moment. Okay. Now, as always, there are jobs available for locals. Please don't be shy. Please come and see us. Yeah. We have jobs available for everybody, from a general labour up to site engineers. I need site engineers. I need 4 site engineers. If you know of anybody suitably qualified who doesn't mind putting a few hours a week in, well, about 60, then please send them up. Mr. Severin has my phone number. He will willingly send them up, and if they're suitable, they can start next week. Okay. Thank you. Good evening.
I'm glad to get some people. While you are here and we are preparing to receive the Honorable Prime Minister, please be informed at the back you have application forms for these apartments, units, so you could collect an application form from the Ministry of Housing. And also, we also advertise in the Housing Recovery Project, which is financed under the World Bank. They also have an outfit at the back. So please allow yourselves to be informed and take the opportunity to have an application done. At this moment, I would like to invite the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Housing and Lands to join us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me recognize the Pal Rep, Honorable Joseph Isaac, and I would like to recognize the candidate for the Roseau Central constituency. My wife, Mrs. Melissa Skerritt. Also, recognize Mr. Chris Timmins, who worship the mayor, my cabinet colleagues were here, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Housing, and to all of you, the wonderful residents of the Roseau Central constituency, the city of Dominica, Roseau. I have been associated with Roseau for some time, having attended the Dominica Grammar School, having attended the Sifokol, and having taught at the college that was situated next to the grammar school for some years before moving up to the stock farm. And I have always recognized that housing is a major challenge in the city of Roseau. I think if we are to speak about what is the major priority in Roseau, I believe we will all agree with a unanimous voice that housing is a major challenge. And many of you are either renting, you have been able to put together a small house, a small shack on somebody else's land. You are unable to expand as your family grows because the lot is 200 square feet. You're unable to have adequate sanitation. And those of us who rent, the landlords are not as diligent as they're supposed to be. So there's poor plumbing, there's poor electrical wiring, and that's how it has been. And the vision of the government from a national perspective is to create affordable access to housing for people. And I've always said to our residents that as human beings, and even creatures in the animal kingdom, a shelter is one of the most important priority for a family. All of us work towards ensuring that we can have a proper home, a comfortable home for ourselves and our family. And the fact will always remain that it is not all of us who have the means and the ability to go to the banks to get a loan. And those who may even have the ability to go to the banks and get a loan, you do not have the land to build a home on. And so you have been renting, many of you I know, for 30, 40 years, moving from house to house with your family. And you never have the peace of mind and the comfort that you look forward to as citizens, as residents. And so we have tried to address the housing situation in the city. The original intention back then when we built those apartments in Bath Estate and Emsall was to have acquired the lands on Kennedy Avenue, close to the financial center, and also the lands from Kennedy Avenue going out to Hillsborough Street. As you know, there are a number of small buildings from Kennedy Avenue across to Hillsborough Street, and to put those apartments that we built in Emsall and Bath Estate in the city itself. But obviously with different landowners, it complicated the process, and we needed to get the project going, so we moved them to Bath Estate and Emsall, because the original apartments were designed to house the residents of the city. And in our thinking, and myself growing up in Roseau, we always knew Roseau to be a residential city, which is unique in the world, unique in the Caribbean. Most cities in the Caribbean are more commercial, but Dominica and Roseau, we are both commercial and residential. And we did not want to build the residences out of the city and take that cultural aspect from the city. And so always our intention to build the homes, build the residences in the city so we can have the population getting back to where it was. And when you walk the streets, you're seeing different colors in the curtain because people watching TV, and you're hearing children laughing and so forth. That's how we knew Roseau in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. You know, You realize I'm talking like a Roseau fella there. But, and so we're presenting to you tonight, not pie in the sky proposals, ladies and gentlemen. I am not in the business of playing games with the lives and the future of people. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I will do it. I have never been and will never be a game player. And I don't play politics with people's lives in the future. This is not why I came into public life at a very young age. I came to make a contribution to this country and to help people get up from where they are to a higher level in life and so on. And that's my preoccupation. And so we're presenting to you 156 residential units and some 32 or so shops, because we also have a challenge in the city. That is, we have so many budding entrepreneurs in the city. People with all sorts of little shops selling different things. You have the hairdressers, you have the barbers, you have all the young ladies who are doing the nails and all this fancy acrylic nails and so on, you call it. You know, and the braiders and so forth. You know, somebody has a little shop selling little groceries and so on. And we wanted to ensure that we make allowance for these people, because we recognize that rent is prohibitive for those small businesses. If you have a small business and you pay rent for $2,000 and $3,000, there's no way you can see a way. And how do we help these people? How do we help these people who have the idea, who have the propensity to hard work, who have the dedication and the diligence? How do we help them, you know, get from one level to the other? And so we're making allowances for commercial space, not to compete with the existing private sector who are renting to people, but providing rental space for people who are unable to, who have the idea and who are creating jobs for themselves and for others, to give them that jump start, that push, that extra help, so that they can realize a greater return on their investments and see their way. And we have a new class, a new group of businessmen and businesswomen from the city and within the city. And so this is what we look to sticking to do. And these homes that we are building are of a resilient nature. They have taken into consideration our experiences with Maria, and they also have taken into consideration the fact that Dominica is in the seismic belt. So in terms of seismic activity, the designs have also taken that into consideration. The windows, as Mr. Timmins indicated, are impact windows. So a Category 5 hurricane will not affect them and so on. They're sturdy, they're strong. And so of course we would have started this project sometime now. And as you know, we were going to build several of those homes in the Pound area. But negotiation with the landowners posed a challenge to us. And so we had to not abandon the process, but end it where we got to. And this is why we have decided that we're not in a position now to do the entire Roseau City Square, but we have acquired enough land to put 2 buildings along the Kennedy Avenue area so that we enhance this area and provide adequate housing for citizens. So I urge you, my dear brothers and sisters, to take advantage of the application process. Their forms is a very transparent process. 156 units, it's a lot to provide for the city. We will provide for you, the residents of the city. And certainly this will help enhance the quality of life in the city and of the residents of the city. Because housing is a major indicator of poverty. And if you can address issue of access to water, access to proper sanitation, access to proper housing, you address a fundamental challenge of poverty within our country and within the city. And so certainly that will address this. And for our own children too, that they will be able to wake up in a very comfortable home. They can study at night, you know, the clothes are not wetting, you know, they're comfortable and they can go to school, you know, having had a very decent sleep. And I know many of you in the city for many years, and I know the housing condition. And for me, I am very happy to be here in the city to present this to you. I urge you to accept it. I urge you to encourage it, because it is going to address a fundamental challenge confronting you in the city. And I'm very happy for you. Because for me, as a person, not only as Prime Minister, but as a human being, what I want for myself, I want it for somebody else. You know, and I keep saying, I have a comfortable home, I want people to have a comfortable home as well. And therefore we have to push. It is not cheap, but it is an investment that is necessary and important for our people. And this housing is also going to complement the Roseau Enhancement Project. And we're giving you here on the River Street area, a taste of what the Roseau Enhancement Project will look like when it's fully complete. And this Riverside Promenade, and we're building the shops, as you see, that will be leased to people to pilot trade. And we recall, and you know, sometimes people forget how things were in Dominica. And then they say Scarrett hasn't done anything in 20 years. But we forget how Dominica was when Scarrett became Prime Minister of Dominica. You know, and so this, I mean, look at this. It's not completed yet, but you can envision what this Riverside Promenade will look like. That now we can come and stroll on this, sit down, have our ice cream, our children can play, you know, and we can have an improvement in our quality of life in the city of Roseau, and allow this city to be more attractive to tourists and visitors alike. And so we will continue this Roseau Enhancement Project. The intention here is to cover all the drains. You can see the drains now. I mean, look at how that's what we're going to be doing, and bringing some high level to the city and so forth, modernizing the city, allowing it to be more accessible, especially by people with disabilities, by senior citizens, so that we all can have equal access to the city. And so these shops, these bars will be rented out to people to pilot trade in the city. We have 10 of them. 10 of them will create employment for 10 citizens here in Roseau to pilot trade. And when we move to the upper part of Riverbank, we're going to take the road all the way to the bridge at the Windsor Park. So we'll have a road going straight up to the Windsor Park, so you have an additional access in and out of the city. And when we build these homes there, then your children going to grammar school, you don't have to make the whole round, you just walk across to the bridge, etc., etc. So we're not only building these homes, we have taken careful care of how we go about doing it, being sensitive and knowing the circumstance and the situation in the city and so forth. So these are homes that are purpose-built for the city of Roseau, addressing the fundamental issues confronting the city. And you know, you have seen what we have been doing in terms of home repairs in the city and building of new homes. I mean, my wife has come in here. She's been announced as a candidate some 7 months ago. And you have seen what she has done where housing is concerned and representation is concerned. And some people will come here and say, okay, well, Scarrett has been Prime Minister for 15 years. What has he done for Roseau? But what has been missing in Roseau, why I believe that you have not really gotten your fair share of development in the country, is lack of representation. And when Isaac came across to us, you saw what we were able to do together with him in the short stint that he came across with us. And with my wife here showing the kind of genuine care and concern for the residents of the city, you have You have seen the difference. And so what Roseau needs at the local level is somebody who has a genuine concern and care for the people, and that will translate itself into tangible benefits to the people, so that you have somebody who can advocate for you, somebody who knows the city and knows the concerns of the city, and that's what we are presenting to you here in Roseau Central. And I will say to you, my dear friends, with the greatest of sincerity, that these homes here are not no vote-catching homes. This is not what we're doing. We're doing it for you because of our compassionate nature. We understand the challenges of people, and that's what we're doing all across Dominica. When we took a decision to relocate Pirit-Savan, people said that scary talking nonsense. That will never happen. How is he going to get the money to relocate a whole village, hundreds of people? But guess what? We have lived to see, by the grace of God, that an entire community, was relocated. An entire community. And this is why we will always express our gratitude to MMC, our partner. And you'll hear some people criticizing MMC. Everything that is happening good in this country, there's some people who are criticizing it. Everything. And anytime you hear these people criticizing something, just know it's something good. You understand? And MMC has been an extraordinary partner for Dominica. And they have been helping us to implement this housing program. And we're very grateful for them. I will also say to you that all of these homes are being funded with the CBI funds. Every home that we built in Pirit-Savan, funded by the CBI funds, and every home that we have built since the hurricane has been financed by the CBI funds. Every home that we have fixed in Dominica since the hurricane came from the CBI funds. All of this, what you see happening in infrastructure, every single dollar, including the payment for the flowers, CBI funds. And I can say to you that this person you see standing before you as the Minister of Finance of this country has had a sterling track record of being able to account for people's money that have been entrusted to. We have in this country an extraordinary relationship with the European Union. You know why? Because they know that the monies that they've given to us, we have been able to use it properly. And when they come to do their own independent audits, they always give Dominica an A+ for its accountability. I am now in the world, the darling of the World Bank. The World Bank loves me. I did not like the World Bank before because, but because of our accountability and transparency practices. They are keen on doing business with us. And this is why after the hurricane, for negotiations with the World Bank, they gave us some $50 million as a grant to help us in this country after the hurricane. And I will say to you that this country is on an upward trajectory. We are going places and we will get to places in this country. And there's some, when we said we're going to build 5-star hotels, they say, when in Dominica are you going to build 5-star hotels, Gary? Which 5-star hotel are you talking about? When we said we're going to get international brands, they said that no brand can come in Dominica. But today, we have 5-star hotels opening in Dominica. International brands. And so the Kempinski is open, the Marriott is under construction, the Hilton is under construction. We have signed, we have sold the land at Public Works to build a Marriott hotel, 143 rooms. And that hotel will commence in 2020. And we will sign a second agreement with the developers of the Kempinski Hotel for an additional 100-room hotel adjacent to the Kempinski. That will start in 2020 as well. And with the construction of the new cruise ship village and the new port, that will revolutionize the cruise tourism in our country and increase the tourist arrivals in Dominica. And when I told you in Dominica that we were going to build the international airport, again, fellas say, scary talking about international airport. But I am telling you tonight, my dear brothers and sisters, that the good Lord is on our side in Dominica. And it is written, it says, seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. And we have been seeking and we've been knocking the doors, and the good Lord has granted us that entry into that house. So listen to my Independence Day address, and I will tell you about the complete 100% financing of our international airport in Dominica. "100% financing of international airport." And as a matter of fact, that government has sent a delegation, a special envoy sent by that government to see me today, to deliver that special message to me, that they will finance the airport based on the request of this government. And you know, I told them, let me tell you something. I want that airport to start in 2020, you know. And they have also sent a delegation to Dominica that will remain there for the next 3 to 4 months to put all of the systems in place for the international airport. So, and I think once we can get, once we can get that international airport in Dominica, then nothing holding us back, you know. Nothing holding us back. You know, so when you hear the song Brighter Days, it's real thing we're talking about. Real thing we're talking about. So, and of course, agriculture. We have also the geothermal. And we have secured all of the financing for the geothermal. We are moving now to the tender process for the construction of the plant for the geothermal. So, and that geothermal will allow for cheaper electricity for us as consumers and businesses. And the more money we can keep in our pocket, the better for every family and business in Dominica. On Friday of this week, we will break ground for a 70-villa resort in Loda that will be financed by the Citizenship by Investment Program. So on Friday, we have the launching. On Saturday, we have the formal opening of the Kempinski Hotel. They're already open, but a formal opening of the Kempinski Hotel, 160 rooms, a 5-star hotel in Dominica. And so when people tell you what Scriptural has done and so on, and understand this, understand this, that we have been impacted by so many natural disasters over these years. First, when we came into office, we had to fix the economy. We had to stabilize the finances of the country. We had to go through a very tough adjustment restructuring program. Because when we came into government in 2000, government was not able to pay salaries. We were not paying our debts. We had to fix this. And it took us from 2002 to December 2006 to complete the IMF program. And then in 2010, we were affected by a storm. 2013 by another storm. 2015 by Erica. And 2017 by Maria. And Erica impacted 90% of our GDP. Maria, 226% of our GDP. Now, my dear friends, understand this. Any country in the world, big or small, for example, if the United States of America's economy, that's a national economy, were to be impacted by 226% of the GDP, they'll be in trouble. They'll be in trouble. And for a small country with no natural resources except water and its people, to have been impacted by 226% of the GDP and be able to have done so much in 2 years for a country. I say to people, you don't have to say thanks to me, but say thanks to the Lord for blessing Dominica. But it is beyond human comprehension. It is inconceivable for there to be some people in Dominica to say nothing has happened in Dominica. And I will say to us in the city that we have to take our responsibility very seriously. All of us want Dominica to be where we want it to be. And therefore we have to ask ourselves individually and as a family, what will be my individual contribution to that cause? Criticizing is very easy, It is the easiest thing to do is to criticize. But are you prepared to play your part? And being negative is not going to change things. Being negative and destructive is not going to make development come. And attacking Roosevelt Skerritt every day is not going to make things get better for anybody in Dominica. What you build a country on two fundamental things: vision and hope. And of course, you must have love connected to that. And if you, because it is written, sorry for Father, greetings to you, Father, for the coffee. I missed you tonight in my salutations. But it is written that without a vision, a people perish. And it goes further to say that you must write down your vision. And so if you cannot articulate a vision, what are you going to do for people? What are you going to do for this country? So criticizing and being negative and trying to create mayhem and destruction in our country, and to deny people opportunities for jobs and the private sector for commerce, not going to help, my friends. And therefore, we have to continue to be on the side of Dominica. I don't want you to be on my side and so on. I want you to be on the side of Dominica. And decide what is best for you. What is best for your family. What is best for the city. And what is best for Dominica. Because I have said to people, I have served more years in government than I left to serve. So this is not about me. I am just passing through. One of my favorite songs is "This World Is Not My Home" by Jim Reeves. I'm just passing through. So this is about Dominica. This is about the future of Dominica. And this is about the future well-being of our children. Because all of us who have children, who have grandchildren, who have nieces and nephews, we work for them. We work hard to ensure that they have shoes to go to school, that when they come home from school, they have something to eat and they have a bed to sleep. That's what we do, as parents. And so I am very happy that we're here tonight to present to you this housing. And the contract has been signed, as the developer says. The contractors are here, and we will move in on the site immediately and take advantage of the employment opportunities. Take advantage of the employment opportunities. They need engineers, and they need all sorts of people to work. And look at this. The hurricane hit us in 2017. And in 2019, we have been able to give to residents of Dominica, citizens of Dominica, keys to their homes. Now, even those of us who have had and who have the ability to go to the bank and the credit union to get a loan to build a home, we know how long it takes. You go to an architect, he has to draw it, you have to run after him, you have to sleep under his house to wake him up. You go to the bank, the bank clerk tell you, come back. You want this document, the documents you've been for them, then another document. And so sometimes it takes us years to start a house, a little 3-bedroom house. And just imagine that yours truly has the responsibility to build over 5,000 homes and be responsible for 70,000+ people. And so just imagine your huge task of just being responsible for yourself and your family. And I have to respond for the whole country. And I said to us in Dominica that I don't come complaining to you, the citizens and residents of Dominica, about how difficult it is to run this country. And if I had to complain to you, you'll be hearing from me every minute of the day. But leaders ought not to be complainers. Leaders must find solutions to people's challenges. And that's what we have been doing, and that's what we continue to do. And so we are really making some serious headway. And you know, when I reflect, and I say to my colleagues and myself, and my wife sometimes, you know, boy, had it not been for this hurricane, I cannot imagine where we would have been now. Because the plans we had for this country. But you know, in the book of Matthew it says, you know, and I think in the book of Job and so, you know, the God give up, the God take away. Blessed be the Lord. So we don't question, you know, own human frailties. So we ask, well, what if, and so on. But we're reminded that we must build our life on faith. And we must not be the doubting Thomases. We must live by faith and move by faith and so on. And so we are very grateful and very happy for you. Because I know personally, having lived in the city since 1985, and so I know this city very well. You know, I live on Bath Road, I live on King John V Street. I have walked the streets in Boyd's Avenue and Cox Street and Frupong and so on. And so all the Kuwa in Roseau, I know the Kuwa in Roseau and so on. You know? So, and therefore, my dear friends, you need people who care about you. And this is, I'm not here as the leader of the Labour Party, but so I don't want to speak politics. But all I'm saying to you is that you have a choice to make in this next election in Dominica. And the next election, the election to come in Dominica, whenever the Prime Minister calls elections, there's a very clear choice to make. A choice between a group of men and women who have a vision and a plan for Dominica and who have the resources to implement that vision and that plan, and by another group who has no vision, no plan, always negative, always destructive. I mean, let's face it, ladies and gentlemen. Let us have a sincere conversation. Let us have a sincere conversation. I mean, who would think of having a demonstration during Independence Night? I mean, it's Friday Curl Festival first night. The ladies doing their little nails on their hair, their little weave to look nice for the stuff. And then they could not get to the hairdresser on time. So I know many young ladies in Roseau who did not go, or Dominica who did not go to the Curl Festival because they couldn't go to the hairdresser to look nice. Bus drivers couldn't make $1 on Friday because the whole city was blocked. You know, you see, when you are a leader, you must have the ability to think strategically. You must be able to think, and you must be able to discern what is right from wrong. And if you are a leader and you cannot discern what is right from wrong, then how are you going to guide the nation which you're entrusted with? And if we are only teaching our children about being negative and about being always fighting, then how are you going to how do we expect them to be law-abiding citizens? And instead of engaging the young boys on the block and say, comrades, gentlemen, how can we help you make a better way of life? You are attacking them every time and with all sorts of malicious innuendos against them. They are citizens of Dominica. And instead of engaging them to say how you can make life better for them and their families, you're seeking to castigate them as they're not citizens of our country. And so this divisive type of politics is something we must condemn in our nation. Our nation is too small. It's too small and too vulnerable to external shocks, to natural disasters. We need more community spirit, more brotherhood, more being our neighbor's keeper. That's how we're going to build a nation and a community. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, you have, I will tell you that I had my own apprehensions about allowing my wife to be a candidate. Not because I did not want her to serve, but having two small children, and I as the husband being in the front line of the politics, for her to get involved, then you have both husband and wife involved, mother and father involved in this, and we can understand the sacrifice. But she has had and will continue to have an intrinsic love and concern for the city of Roseau. And that is what you need, somebody who is prepared to serve. And when whoever wants to be a leader, whether in the church, whether in business, whether at the national level, you have to be prepared to make sacrifices, personal sacrifices for the greater good. And when people come to you to ask you to vote for them, you must ask them the simple question: my brother, what sacrifice are you making to want to represent me? What sacrifice? You don't come into politics to look for a job. This is not a job, it's a vocation. It's like a priesthood. This is not a job. It is a vocation. And there will always be a situation where many are called but few are chosen. And so, take the future of your children seriously. Know who has your interests and understand this. Because as my grandmother always says to me, and I'm sure your grandparents said to them, it is how you make your bed, that's how you'll sleep on it. And 5 years is a long time to sleep on a bed where the wire pricking your back. And to put it more directly politically, 5 years is a long time to sleep on the saw. You imagine a whole saw across the bed and you're sleeping on that. Eventually it's going to cut your back. But when you have a nice shoe, the guys on the block have the Vapor Max and so on, and you have a nice shoe that's comfortable, my brother, you can walk anywhere in Dominica. Anywhere in Dominica. So walk with your shoes, make the right decision, and I believe things will be great for Dominica. Things will be great in Dominica. Because, and I will say, sorry for, how much time do I have and so on? But I am happy to be in the city, and more so, I am very happy for you. I am very happy for you. And I see my sister here from Roseau South. We coming to you too, We coming to Roseau South. Way. We have down for Roseau South 150 residences across Roseau South. Because people have seen what we have done with Silver Lake. Silver Lake used to be called Fly City. and we transform it. And you know of the long houses that were in Silver Lake with rotten boards, and the people will take paper and cloth and put it in the spaces. And what we have done. So when many of us were running for shelter, including myself, my roof gone, the people in Fly City, Silver Lake, had their roof up. Nothing happened to their homes. They were comfortable because they were in a solid home built by the Dominican Labour Party. And when you look at these designs and the elevations, my brothers and sisters, I mean, many of us have traveled. And in the US, they call public housing projects. And them things not looking nowhere close to that. Nowhere close to that. And when I look at the shower heads that they put in these homes, you know, I made something. I said something in Castle Bruce. There's a lady in Atlanta who doesn't support the Labour Party. And then when she saw a picture of the shower that we have in Castle Bruce, she was shocked to see what we have in Castle Bruce. And so she called her boyfriend fast. Send him to the... No, she sent him... Yeah. That's all right. She sent him to the hardware store, and she bought a shower head just like what she saw in Castle Bruce. You know? So we're not building things for you as tokenism. We're building things to you to get you up. And so when they criticize Roosevelt Skerritt and they say Skerritt giving handouts, I tell them, my brother, you don't understand life. I am trying to give people a hand up to get you from where you are to the next level. And that's what we're doing, and that's the commitment. And you know, it is said, you know, in every disappointment, there's a blessing in this guy. And while this hurricane may have brought us some disappointments, I believe it has given us opportunity to build a new Dominica, to build a resilient Dominica, to build a more inclusive Dominica, to build a more just Dominica. And it has allowed us to create more opportunities for our people. And we thank God for that. And we thank God for giving us the ability to see the blessing in these disappointments and to take advantage of the blessings. So avail yourself to the application process. If you do not apply, you won't get a home. So you must apply. And I give you the assurance that there will be enough to provide for the residents of the city. Because these homes are being built for the residents of Roseau Central. And just to say to Joseph Isaac and so on, next, adjacent to the Riverbank Apartments, the government has some land there. And we'll be putting one of these structures right adjacent to this that will mirror the one across from River Street. And so that the people there, and even in Gutter Village, and in Tarish Pit, for example. I've been to Tarish Pit and Yampis. And yes, we can give people some blocks to build a little something, but with the lots of 100 square feet, 150 square feet, they have nowhere to build a septic tank, far more Sockaway. And so what we're going to present to them is the idea of breaking down those shanty towns there and building those kind of homes for them, these apartments for them, and to be able to elevate them. You know, so we'll be presenting those plans to them, and my hope is that they can take advantage of them. And similarly will be done in Yampis, because it makes no sense you trying to do some patchwork there. You will never get a decent home. And so we'll be taking that to them. Because as we speak, we are building some 33 residential units at Stock Farm in Bellevue Road. So we're not here to talk about pie in the skies. And so when people come to you, you must tell them after they have spent all the time crazy in Scriptural, okay, fine. Then tell me what you're going to do for me. Tell me what you're going to do for Dominica. Tell me your vision. Tell me your plan. Tell me how you propose to make life better for us. And very importantly, tell me where you're getting the money from. And this very simplistic mantra about scary there too long. I mean, isn't that basis you're going to change somebody if you're seeing the difference in what the person is doing? I mean, let us reduce it. Let us reduce it to a boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, you have your boyfriend there, your boyfriend taking care of you. Yes, he's not perfect and so forth. And a man with no job come and tell you all the great things he can give you. So you're going to leave your boyfriend for mister? I mean, stupid is stupid then. Your boyfriend go to America, he buy you a little spandex, he buy you a little baby tea, he buy you a nice perfume, he buy you a nice pair of shoes, he buy you the fancy nails that people wearing and so on. And a guy who can't give you an ice cream telling you, look me. I mean. So, your response to me is, you say, my brother, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, my brother. You see, me and my boyfriend, we get together for 15 years. Mr. is the nicest man I ever met in my life. So, go and get a job, and when you get a job, come and talk to me. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, let's talk about when you're in a relationship and you get to 10 years, you're a party. Then you get to 15 years, you're another party. When you get to 20 years and 25 years, it's silver jubilee. You go to the priest and the pastor and you renew your vows. That's what it is. And you look to another 25 years, and when you get, is it what you call 50 years, golden jubilee? Golden jubilee, I mean, that's where sweet life starts. I mean, so to change a man that loves you, that cares about you, that is there with you, especially in difficult times, and you're going to put a man who has not worked for over 30 years? I mean, when you hit 63 years, retirement you're looking for? Retirement you're looking for? I am just 47 years. I have a long way to go before I get 60. The man on pension, and the man wants to tell you he can work for you. The man on pension. I mean, and if you're going to get a boyfriend who on pension, the man must have money, my friend. The man must have money. But seriously, my friend, somebody who has not taken advantage of opportunities cannot tell you how to take advantage of opportunities. Somebody who doesn't have ambition cannot tell you how to be ambitious. And somebody who has no self-pride cannot tell you what pride is. And somebody who refuses to work cannot tell you how important it is to work. So, when we separate the froth from the beer, we must understand the seriousness of his next election. And so, do not allow somebody who cannot give you biscuit to take bread from your mouth. And so I am very happy to be here in the city. I am satisfied that the residents of Roseau Central, the voters of Roseau Central, have made up their minds that they have a clear choice to make, and that person is Melissa Skerritt in the next election. And you know, you in Roseau Central, you have a special circumstance. You're gonna get 2 PAL reps for 1 in Roseau Central. Because I have already appointed myself as the deputy PAL rep for the Roseau Central. So the future of the city is bright, and the many things that we have yearned for the city, we now have somebody vying to be your PAL rep in the person of Melissa Skerritt, who will have the ability, the opportunity to get this done. And she has the genuine love and care for you, the city, the residents of the city. And we have to embrace that. So I look forward to being here with you when I shall hand over the keys to you, to those residencies. And we're moving full throttle with this because there's an urgent housing need in the city of Roseau. And there's also an urgent need for access to cheaper rentals for people doing the small businesses, the startup businesses. And what a beauty. And there's one project that I will share with you, I will speak to later, that I'm going to do in the city. Where the Dexter building is now, I believe that is wasted commercial space. And we're going to move Dexter out of town because really it's a storage. And so we're going to redo that building, redo the Barracoon building, Madam Mayor, and have 2 buildings, and so there'll be a walkway between these 2 buildings. And the idea is to create a sort of a shopping plaza for the city where the Dexter site is, to allow the vendors to have the trade year-round, and to have a cinema, proper cinema in Dominica, and a proper shopping area in Dominica. And very soon we shall unveil those designs to you, the residents of the city, so you can have an appreciation for what we're going to do in the city. God bless you, my friends. Let us work together for the future development of Dominica. Let us work together for the future development of Dominica. I thank you.
Grades get me high so I can meditate. Oh, dreams of brighter days. Highest grades we blaze. Dreams of brighter days. Giving thanks, giving thanks, giving thanks.
Giving thanks
as the days goes by, giving thanks and praise.
As I puff on my window and glance through my window, I realize there's no turning back. Got to complete life's journey, though things get contrary. Got to make it to the top. See, I'm searching for a way to survive. Working so hard, I know job will provide. See, I'm keeping my head high. Mama tell me the limit is the sky.
Dreams of brighter days. Highest grades we blaze. Dreams of
At this time, I would like to invite Mrs. Melissa Skerritt to give us a vote of thanks.
the sun shining on my face again. Grades get me high so I can
Good evening. Let me recognize the presence of the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica and Minister for Housing and Lands, the Honorable Joseph Isaac, Minister for Environment, Climate Resilience, Disaster Management and Urban Renewal, and the Parliamentary Representative for Roseau Central. Other honorable members of Cabinet, His Excellency Steve Farrell, Secretary to the Cabinet, prominent secretaries, Mr. Christopher Timmins, Project Manager of MMC, Her Worship Irene John, Mayor of Roseau, Reverend Father Franklin Coffey, distinguished guests, members of the media, last but not least, my wonderful residents and constituents of Roseau Central. It is my distinct pleasure to stand before you here tonight to say thank you. Thanks for those directly associated with the organization and execution of today's program. But also thanks to those who have been and will continue to work so hard on this deserving project. As a businesswoman, a resident and daughter of Roseau, I take particular pleasure in saying thanks on behalf of the residents who call the city home. Roseau Central, now is your time. We are collectively excited about the plans that have been unveiled here that will facilitate the building of commercial complexes as well as residences. Not just plans were unfolded here tonight, but this ceremony in effect has out an exclamation point on hope. Indeed, we appreciate that this is a part of a comprehensive plan to transform the city and to help upgrade it to a modern urban center worthy of people living and working. Let me say special thanks to the senior members and staff of the Ministry of Housing and Lands, whose hard work has been very instrumental in getting us to this stage, and whose continued commitment will be crucial in seeing it through. To the prominent secretary, Mr. Reginald Sevre, we say thank you especially. Father Franklin Coffey, we are grateful for you accepting this invitation to say the opening prayers and to bring your special blessings. And to the mayor of the city, Irene John, we are also very grateful. This project, we are certain, will eventually stand as a testament of the power of a successful joint working relationship with central and local government. We know the office of the Member of Parliament has also been very instrumental in many aspects. Honorable Joseph Isaac, both as Minister and MP for this area, has been nothing short of an inspiration. Mr. Minister, we know you may be into your final months as MP of Roseau Central, and maybe we as a community and as residents should also say thank you. Not only for your contribution on this particular effort, but in the life and the times of Roseau Central in general. The good news is that you will not be totally lost to all of us, because you are seeking to bring that level of representation to another area, Roseau North. Mr. Christopher Timmins of MMC and the Roseau Housing Development Corporation, you and your company are indeed a crucial partner in this endeavor to help transform Roseau City and the environs. We have entrusted you with a significant task in helping us to execute this project. And last but not least, thank you to the Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt for your foresight and for your headship on this issue, and indeed many other issues in national life. Since taking over the Ministry of Housing and Lands portfolio in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, You have set new standards for its effort and vision. We are a grateful city, and indeed, by extension, a grateful nation. And we cannot say thank you enough. Your leadership and your sacrifice must never be taken for granted. I am a member of the expectant residents of Roseau Central, looking forward to this new chapter. And like all of my Roseau Central people here, I am willing to be able to play my part in whatever way that we are called upon. Our sense of community and our sense of commitment shall show no bounds. Once again, I thank you to every single one of you here who made this journey possible and who have made today's event possible. And thanks in advance to all those who will work so hard in the future to ensure that these drawings we see here today are given real life and real meaning. As a prayerful people, our ultimate thanks and gratitude goes to the Almighty God that we serve. And before I leave, I call on the constituents of Roseau Central. I know that housing has been a pressing issue for you, your most pressing issue. And that's why, since being announced as a candidate, I took a very aggressive approach in addressing your housing issues. And even though to date we have impacted over 60 homes and built over 20 from ground up, the job is not done. And many of you have even expressed to me the need for commercial space that is affordable in the city. And many of you tonight have expressed to me that you want to be part of the building efforts of bringing Roseau to the next level, and you're ready for a second job. So I urge you tonight to seize the opportunity at hand. Seize the jobs that are available through MMC, as Mr. Christopher announced. And I also want you to put your application in. Like the PM said, if your application is not in, we will not know, or you will not get an apartment. So I urge you after this ceremony to meet with the housing ministry at the back, and even my team here is settled at the back. Meet with them, put in your application, and let us start the process. Roseau Central, I want you on the bandwagon to take the city, to take Roseau to the next level. And so I just want to thank all of you for coming out today, and to God be the glory for great things that he continues to do for us here in the city. I thank you.
Dreams of brighter days, highest grades we blaze,
I just want to wish Mrs. Skerritt, thank you. And there, as she indicated at the back, we have the application process. We can mix and mingle. Thank you for coming, everyone. Good night.
dreams of brighter days, highest grades we blaze, dreams of brighter days, giving thanks, giving thanks, giving thanks.